So, coming to Nehru's first recruits, the most recurring debates in our contemporary news cycle is pitting Nehru against Bose. And in your book, I've seen INA finds quite a few mentions. Could you please shed some more light on that? I mean, Nehru's perspective on INA pre and post independence, and also his camaraderie with Bose.
Well, I would actually talk about Nehru's one of the last books that Nehru compiled, because he did not really write that book himself, and that's a book called Bunch of Old Letters. And Nehru actually collected all his old letters and compiled that book. It was published, I think, in 1957, if I remember the date correctly. And one of the longest letters in that book is actually a letter from Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. Yes. And it's nothing but a long complaint against Nehru that Netaji had written. And it is full of critical observations of Netaji about Nehru and about why he disagreed with Nehru on so many issues. So, and look at it from this point of view, that here was the Prime Minister of India who was compiling a book out of old personal letters. Mm-hmm. And he chose to include a letter from Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose that Netaji had written to Nehru, in a way criticizing him. So I think the times that they belong to, it was very different sort of a time where personal relationship and personal friendship continued along with disagreements. So I have a feeling that, when it came to accommodating, say, INA people, activists, and into the Indian Foreign Service, the attitude was that during that time, Nehru had given a commitment, a public commitment, that the people who were involved in unarmed resistance, despite being part of INA, would be accommodated into government services. So most of the people who were accommodated were part of the Indian National Army of Subhash Chandra Bose, but they were not really into, say, active fighting. So they were not, into, say, armed activities and etc. So therefore, when Netaji's men, including women, were into sort of rehabilitated into government services, it was done according to the pledge that Nehru had given himself, because he was the leader of the interim government in 1946, and as the leader of the interim government, that commitment had to be somehow upheld. So that is why I feel that when he had the chance to rehabilitate the people from the INA and those who are obviously unarmed, in a way, unarmed resistance, he felt that it was the right thing to do, and he gave them the chance. And obviously, these people who are highly talented people, like be it Cyril John Tracy or Kannampilli and others, they came with their huge, what can one say, public network in Southeast Asia. So that was a thing that India would gain if they were given that opportunity. So I think Nehru took that decision in India's interest.